On and on it goes. The Kremlin orders the assaults, and Russia's soldiers march. Bereft of armor and in terrible condition, those soldiers attempt to make it across kill zones filled with drones to fight against Ukrainians who are waiting to destroy them. The inevitable is happening. Russia's soldiers are dying in record numbers. Vladimir Putin's troops are being erased as a drone storm descends to cause Russia the worst military losses in modern history. January has been a month of constant death for Russia, and it's Ukraine's drones that are once again at the heart of the action. On February 5, Ukraine announced that it had eliminated over 30,000 Russian soldiers in January alone. And when we say eliminated, we mean that those soldiers are never coming back. They haven't been injured. They haven't been captured. These are all soldiers who have been obliterated by Ukraine's drones, with each of the deaths being verified. As President Volodymyr Zelensky explains, all losses are verified, every strike has video confirmation in the Delta system, Zelensky said when revealing the numbers. We'll come back to that interesting system in a moment. First, Ukraine's new defense minister, Mikhailo Fedorov, also had plenty to say about what the country's unmanned systems forces achieved in January. Taking to Telegram to publicize the latest figures, Fedorov said, "In January, the defense forces eliminated over 30,000 Russian troops. All losses were verified. Each strike has video confirmation in the Delta system." The leader in this direction, according to the results of the month, was the SBU Special Unit Alpha. That last part is particularly interesting. By this point, it's well known that Ukraine has developed leaderboards for its drone operators, which it uses to both keep track of their accomplishments and reward those who destroy Russian soldiers. It looks like the Alpha unit of the Security Service of Ukraine, or SBU, scored the highest number of kills this month. Perhaps next month, it'll be a different unit. Fedorov also provided a bit more clarity on the figures in a graphic he shared in his Telegram post. The precise number of Russian soldiers that Ukraine verifiably killed in January was 30,618, which amounts to about 987 Russian troops dead every single day. Operationally, this has a massive effect on Russia, as it's burning through soldiers at such a rate that its offensives are naturally being limited in their strength and number. It also appears that Ukraine's drone operators took part in 7,495 of what Fedorov calls NRC missions during the month. According to Pravda, NRC missions amount to missions carried out by Ukraine's ground robots. Fedorov highlighted Ukraine's 3rd Separate Assault Brigade as the standout unit in this department, and noted that Ukraine's ultimate goal is for robots to perform as much dangerous work on the battlefield as possible, reducing the risks for our soldiers. But the specifics don't matter as much as the headline numbers. For Putin, January is a month when Russia lost well over 30,000 military soldiers, including the soldiers that Russia's leader barely sees as human. There's a lot more to cover, so stay with us until later in the video to discover what else Ukraine achieved in January. We mentioned Ukraine's Delta system earlier. This system is what the country uses to track the number of kills that its drone operators achieve, and it's a remarkable piece of technology. Back in August, Ukraine's Ministry of Defense, or MOD, announced that the Delta system had been deployed across all levels of the Ukrainian military, which essentially means that every unit now has access to the treasure trove of data and information that the system contains. And treasure trove is the perfect term. The technical description that the MOD provides for Delta is useful, though it doesn't really explain how powerful this system is. Former Defense Minister Denis Shmyhal says, Delta is a combat digital ecosystem that gives the Ukrainian armed forces a technological edge. It enables real-time battlefield awareness, supports operational planning, and facilitates information sharing within units, brigades, formations, and, when needed, with allies. So, it's clearly an intelligence tool. However, its sheer scope is unrivaled by almost anything else in the world. We'll give you an example. Each of the drone kills that Ukraine claimed in January has been recorded by the very FPV drones that made Those kills. All of that footage is uploaded to Delta for everybody to see, which is valuable intelligence in its own right. Every drone kill has the potential to reveal even more information, such as the locations of equipment that Russia's soldiers are trying to move around Ukraine. Now, add reconnaissance drones to that mix. Every drone that Ukraine has scouting the ground from the skies is uploading footage captured in real time to Delta. Those monitoring the system can order rapid attacks on whatever Ukraine's reconnaissance drones see, and the information is being shared across the entire Ukrainian military. There's a lot more, of course. But even back in August, Shmyhal claimed that Delta supported the targeting of 2,000 Russian assets per day, which amounts to around 730,000 verified targets annually. Delta may just be the single most important system that Ukraine has at its disposal. We've focused on footage collected by drones. But, as Grey Dynamics reveals, images and videos captured by human intelligence sources, sensors, satellites, and essentially anything that is capable of transmitting information to a digital system are all sent to Delta. The result of all of this information, in simple terms, is a massive illustrated map that reveals the locations of Russian forces, with that map being key to every decision that Ukraine makes on the ground and in the air. This is network-centric warfare. And in less than 4 years, Ukraine has become a master of it. It's thanks to Delta that Ukraine knows exactly how many Russian soldiers it killed in January. And it's also Delta that allows us to see that the January kill count comes on the back of several months where Ukraine has been inflicting insane casualties against the Russian invaders. In December, for instance, Zelensky claimed that Ukraine had killed 35,000 soldiers for that month. That was double the number of Russian soldiers killed in December of 2024, though it isn't clear if all of these kills were achieved by drones or if they're verified kills from every possible source. United 24 Media adds that the kill count for November was around 26,000, with October delivering almost 25,000 kills, all verified via Delta. What we saw in January is far from a one-off. It's the new pattern of the Ukraine war. And there are a lot of reasons why Ukraine scoring such massive kill counts month after month is bad for Russia. You're going to learn all about those reasons soon. But before you do, we have a very important point to make. The kills that Ukraine reported for January are only those that it has verified via Delta. There will be a lot more. Delta doesn't have evidence of every kill that Ukraine achieved. It can only prove the kills that are recorded and uploaded to the system. So, let's say that Ukrainian artillery fire obliterates a Russian foxhole. Such an attack could kill several of Putin's occupiers, but those deaths wouldn't be verified unless the aftermath was recorded or photographed. That's difficult to do when the bodies are in trenches or hunkered down in bunkers, and Ukraine has more important things to do than waste drones on checking out every destroyed site. It's enough to know that the site has been obliterated. In such cases, the deaths aren't counted. Examples of strikes against Russia that aren't recorded take place every day. That means we can likely add several thousand more deaths to the figure that Ukraine has revealed, turning an already terrible month for Putin into one that could indicate that a true shift has taken place in the Ukraine war. And as though things couldn't get any worse for Russia, Ukraine has also revealed that it isn't going to rest on its laurels. 30,000 verified kills in a single month are impressive. But what about 50,000? That's the monthly target that Fedorov has set for Ukraine's drones in 2026 in a move that is designed to make the cost of the war, both in terms of money and manpower, unsustainable for Russia. So, we might be reporting on more record-breaking months in 2026, assuming the war drags on for the rest of the year. And there's more. Ukraine's FPV drone operators may have grabbed all of the headlines in January, but its defensive operators have been crucial, too. We'll let Fedorov explain. Operators of interceptor drones shot down a record number of Shaheeds, with Nemesis emerging as the leader, Ukraine's defense minister said on Telegram, adding, "We are actively increasing the effectiveness of small air defense systems to protect the sky. At the same time, together with our partners, We are cutting off the enemy's ability to use Western technologies to attack Ukrainians. Fedorov doesn't provide any figures outside of noting the record-breaking achievements of Ukraine's interceptor drone operators. But those drone operators need to be breaking records. According to Ukrinform, Russia unleashed more than 6,000 long-range attack drones, likely Shahd drones and variants of the Shahd design, in January 2026. That is an enormous number of drones sent to overwhelm Ukraine's air defenses. The more attack drones that Ukraine's interceptors can destroy, the better for its other air defense systems, which can focus on taking out the missiles and guided bombs that Russia typically launches alongside its drones. None of this is good for Russia. But before we go deeper into that, you're watching the military show. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time if you want more insight into Ukraine's defense against Putin's aggression. Now, we've mentioned a few times that what Ukraine achieved in January will have several ramifications on the battlefield. Chief among those impacts is simple. Ukraine is maintaining its high tempo of Russian kills. You've seen that already, as we've highlighted how this is the second month in a row that Ukraine's drones scored 30,000 kills or more. And the fourth month that has seen Ukraine hit or top the approximate 25,000 mark. What we're seeing here is the result of years of Ukraine's focus on innovating in the drone space, manifesting into a new type of strategy that has never been seen before. Russia's soldiers wouldn't be dying in such massive numbers if Ukraine had restricted itself to fighting the type of war that Putin wanted to fight. If all Ukraine did was fortify and fight against the masses of tanks, armored vehicles, artillery, and soldiers that Russia deploys, Putin's forces would have advanced much more quickly across Ukraine. But those soldiers are barely advancing, and the reason is that tens of thousands of them are being shredded to pieces long before they make it to the positions that they're supposed to be attacking. Ukraine has created deep kill zones that are filled with FPV drones and other defenses, all of which lie ahead of the fortifications that Russia needs to topple. As Politico said in November, the result has been the creation of a gray zone of horror where drones are constantly on the hunt for targets. This gray zone often extends up to 20 kilometers, or about 12.4 miles, from the front. Neither side wants its soldiers in the gray zone. And Ukraine doesn't have to send any. It's Russia that is launching all of the assaults, which means that it is Russia that is sending soldiers in their thousands to cross what has become the modern-day equivalent of the no man's land seen during the trench warfare of World War I. Ukraine's defense of its cities is now heavily reliant on these kill zones, and they're proving how effective they can be. Russia is forced to expend enormous numbers of soldiers and pieces of equipment to get across, all while Ukraine's defenders stay back and let the meat send itself into the grinder. When Russia's forces do break through, they're utterly spent. As for Ukraine, the attrition that it inflicts on Russia's attacking forces creates gaps in the kill zones through which targeted counter-assaults can be launched. Ukraine doesn't have to send soldiers in their thousands. Once the kill zones and the thousands of drones flying in them have done their work, Ukraine can push back. February 5th also brought with it another interesting revelation. According to NBC News, Zelensky has acknowledged that 55,000 of Ukraine's soldiers have died in the fight against Russia. This is a tragedy for Ukraine, but it also casts an even harsher spotlight on just how effectively Ukraine has defended its territory against Russian aggression. 55,000 is less than the number of deaths that Ukraine inflicted on Russia's forces in December and January, which combined for a total of 65,000 deaths. In other words, Russia lost more of its soldiers in 2 months than Ukraine has lost in almost 4 years of fighting. We have a little more insight into these numbers. In February 2025, Zelensky claimed that 46,000 of Ukraine's soldiers had been killed. So, the past year has seen Ukraine lose just 9,000 soldiers, for a death rate of about 750 per month. Russia lost 40 times that amount in January alone, which is a shocking statistic that reveals two things. Russia's strategy isn't working, and Ukraine is successfully leveraging its drones to both inflict massive casualties and preserve the lives of its own soldiers. Again, we come back to The point about how Ukraine has completely changed the rules of warfare from what Putin thought them to be. No amount of defenses seem to be helping Russia. Netting and signal interference can be used in the occupied territories to potentially stop Ukraine's drones from doing the damage. But in the kill zones, Russia's soldiers are on their own. Quite literally, in some cases.